What's going on, guys? It's Jay Mass, and I'm back again with another dope New England adventure. And today we are currently standing atop Mount Nonotuck, an 827-foot tall mountain located in the Mount Tom Range, here in the city of Holyoke, Massachusetts, located out here in western Massachusetts. And on this very cold and windy day, we're going to be checking out a set of ruins here on Mount Nonotuck. In fact, you can already see the ruins directly behind me. This was once known as the Eyrie House. It was a grand hotel built and opened in 1861 by William Street. Now, it had many guests over the years, and in fact, it peaked in the 1880s with over 30 guest rooms. However, it sadly burned down in 1901, and all that was left behind are the ruins. After this became Mount Tom Reservation, in 1905, the ruins were taken in, and ever since then, they've been open to the public to explore. Now, I'll get more in depth into the history about this place. It is rather depressing, to be honest, but nonetheless, a fascinating piece of history and one of many examples of former summit hotels, which were very popular in the mid to late 19th century. We'll get into all that and more shortly, but as always, guys, my name is Jay Mass. If you love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on the channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. I do want to give a major shout out to all my channel members. You can see them right here. You guys are awesome. And I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly, and you get your name in every video. Or you could follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. But we're going to get right into it and explore the Eyrie House ruins here atop Mount Nonotuck in Holyoke, Massachusetts. There's a lot of history at this place, and I personally find it fascinating. So let's just get right into it. And with that, let's get started and explore the abandoned Eyrie House ruins here at the summit of Mount Nonotuck in the city of Holyoke, Massachusetts. Now, as you can see, the Eyrie House ruins themselves are actually quite small. You know, area-wise, it's not really a large set of ruins or anything. So as a result, this is going to be a pretty brief video. I know I say that in literally every video, but I swear this one will be pretty brief. But nonetheless, as we walk around these cobblestone ruins and check them out more closely, I'll get more in-depth and detailed about the history. So you might be wondering, why are these called the Eyrie House ruins? You know, what does Eyrie actually mean? Well, if you don't know, an eyrie is basically a large bird's nest, usually an eagle, and these large bird's nests are perched upon trees and cliffs. That's where the name comes from, Eyrie House. It's basically perched along a cliff here on Mount Nonotuck. And the Eyrie House was opened up in 1861 by William Street. Now, at this time, the mid-19th century, summit hotels were very popular. As the name suggests, a summit hotel is basically a hotel on the summit of a hill or a mountain or a cliff. Basically offers expansive views. It was a popular way to travel and explore. And the Eyrie House right here was a summit hotel on Mount Nonotuck in the Mount Tom Range, which itself is a very magnificent and beautiful mountain range here in Holyoke. Let's walk through this tunnel right here and check this out. This is kind of cool. So the Eyrie House Hotel, it was a pretty big place at the time. There were a lot of things to do, many amenities. I believe there were even stables with horses. Lots of stuff to do. It was a very popular attraction. In fact, many hundreds and thousands of guests actually came here. And this place peaked in the 1880s with over 30 guest rooms at the hotel itself. But unfortunately, this popularity would not last for long, and this is primarily due to nearby competition. As I said, summit hotels were very popular in the mid to late 19th century, and the Eyrie House was not the only summit hotel in the area. In fact, there were many more. And as a result, the Eyrie House, fell behind in popularity and slowly began to deteriorate. By 1893, the Eyrie House had deteriorated beyond repair, and was nowhere near as popular as it had been a decade prior in the 1880s, drawing in very few visitors and guests. As a result of his dwindling business, William Street wanted to attempt building a second hotel, although this never came to fruition, and the Eyrie House deteriorated and decayed even further. Now, this is where the story gets a little depressing. In April 1901, William Street was conducting a cremation process of two of his dead horses. He built a funeral pyre to burn the corpses, but sadly, this went haywire. A massive and devastating fire consumed the summit of Mount Nonotuck, And one of the things that got destroyed in the crossfire was the Eyrie House. And that's why these ruins are here today. They were essentially destroyed by a devastating fire, resulted from a horse cremation process. It's really interesting, but sad nonetheless. After that, William Street essentially fell into obscurity and became a recluse. In 1903, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts created Mount Tom Reservation, protecting this area. And in 1905, they officially took in the Eyrie House ruins as part of Mount Tom Reservation, opening it to the public to explore. As a gesture of goodwill, they actually put $5,000 into William Street's bank account, essentially forgiving them the Eyrie House ruins. But William Street was always bitter about his loss and never actually touched the money. So the $5,000 given by the state remained untouched and unspent. And all that's left behind of his legacy is the Eyrie House ruins themselves here on Mount Nonotuck. And that's essentially the story of how this got here and, the house and hotel itself. It's a fascinating story, but it is a rather depressing one, basically telling the story of a man who suffered and lost his passion. But nonetheless, cool ruins to walk around. And let's continue to do that right now. One of the things that's really cool are these little tunnels. I believe this is only one, or maybe this is one of two, but you can see these little tunnels you can walk through. And as you could probably guess, these are just remnants of the foundation of the Eyrie House, all made out of cobblestone. You can see the keystone and the archway. It's really cool. But the greatest thing about the Eyrie House is the view. If you step out here, which by the way, be careful, this is a steep cliff face, you get gorgeous views of the surrounding Connecticut River Valley. Check that out. Now in a bit, I will show you guys some better views of the area, but that's mostly why people came here. The reason why this was such a tourist attraction was because of its location. You got sweeping views of the Connecticut River Valley, sweeping views of nearby cities and towns. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous here. And today, as I said, it is open to the public. You can come up here, hike to the spot. It is on Mount Tom Reservation property. They do say don't climb on the ruins, so I'm not going to do that myself, and I would not advise you do the same. Do not climb on these ruins. They are a piece of very fragile history, but cool nonetheless to walk around and see. And again, they are pretty small. What you're seeing right now is essentially it for the ruins. But check this out, really cool. Yeah, definitely one of the most unique pieces of, ruins here in Western Massachusetts. Fascinating stuff. Really quick, I do just want to show you the ruins from this angle right here. To do so, we have to go on a very narrow trail, teetering on the edge of a cliff. So if you do decide to check this out, just be careful. But let's take a look at the ruins from this front facade right here. You can see, again, all the arches and the stonework. You can peek inside. This is the area we were just walking around. Let's take another peek right over here. Yeah, this is the area we were walking around earlier. It's a really cool area and genuinely a beautiful area. I would have loved to see what this hotel looked like during its heyday, especially in the 1880s when it was a popular, bustling spot. You can only imagine how many visitors came here, to spend the night or just explore the mountains. It's an absolutely gorgeous area. Yeah, again, look at this trail, super narrow. Got to be careful as you walk around. You're right on the edge of a cliff. But this is the view you get. Absolutely spectacular. Wonder if we can peek in here. Yeah, and then you just got these barren cobblestone walls. That really is about it, though, for the Eyrie House ruins. Again, it's a pretty small set of ruins, but a good one to check out nonetheless if you're in the area. Would highly recommend come to Mount Tom Reservation just to walk around and go for a hike. Great place to hike. And if you just so happen to be in this specific part of the range, Mount Nonotuck, definitely come out and check the Eyrie House ruins. They're a fascinating piece of history. All right, guys, just a few more things I want to show you really quick. These right here, I believe, are the remnants of what was probably a cellar hole. I don't know exactly what building this would have been for, but it is a cellar hole remnant right here, most likely part of the Eyrie House. And you can even see there's a historical photo attached to this tree, which is kind of cool. Looks like some sort of old bridge. Wish they had more of these posted around, but yeah, we got cellar hole ruins right here. We are a bit of a ways away from the ruins we were previously exploring, but you have to understand, the Eyrie House was a grand hotel. It was huge with many, many rooms. As I mentioned, over 30 guest rooms at its peak. So even though what we saw was pretty small, it was a large hotel at the time it was operating. So it does make sense that we're finding ruins kind of far away from the other ones we just checked out. I also found some smaller ruins right here. Not entirely sure what these were, but I just want to point them out. And then last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out, but there seems to be an abandoned shed and an abandoned tower right here at the top of Mount Nonotuck. Again, these are both completely abandoned, but they're sitting here. Now, I don't necessarily know if these were once part of the Eyrie House. I will fact check myself later if possible, but I think we should check these out right now. But again, I just want to be clear, I'm not sure if these were actually part of the Eyrie House. They're just sitting right nearby. But I bet if you climb to the top of this thing, the views are astounding. So I want to see if we can do that. So let's check this out really quick. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't explore this. I didn't even know it was here. For reference, I should mention, I've actually never been to the Eyrie House before. This is my very first time. So this right here is the shed, pretty heavily covered in graffiti, as you can see. Peek inside, and it's mostly empty, except for miscellaneous scrap metal, light fixtures, wires, random pieces of machinery. Got a fuse box right there, a fan. Yeah, not too much going on here, just some sort of utility or mechanical shed. That's really about it, though. But the main thing I'm personally interested in is this rusty orange tower. Look at that. So I want to see if we can get to the top of this, see what views are up there, and maybe we can even catch some glimpses of the Eyrie House ruins themselves from the top. So I'm going to hike that right now, and I'll meet you guys up there. All right, guys, so we made it to the very top of this abandoned rusty tower here on Mount Nonotuck in the Mount Tom Range. And I'm excited to show you this stunning view. You ready? Check this out. This is the view of the Connecticut River Valley that the Eyrie House visitors and guests were once able to enjoy when they came here back in the 19th century. Absolutely stunning. Now it is late March as I film this, so of course the trees and foliage aren't in full bloom right now, so it is a bit dead, but still absolutely stunning getting this view. Just to give you a sense of what we're looking at, right all the way over there, it might be kind of tough to see, but way over there you might notice some high rises. Right over there, that is actually UMass Amherst, the flagship college for the University of Massachusetts. Right over there is Northampton, the city of Northampton. Got the Connecticut River right there, a lot of farmland. And then right over there is East Hampton. And then way over there, I believe, is Mount Tom. And this is the Mount Tom Range. Way back over there is the actual city of Holyoke. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Absolutely stunning views. Definitely worth coming up here. Now, let's see if we can actually see the Eyrie House. Fortunately, I can't see the Eyrie House, but for reference, the Eyrie House ruins are right down there below. But it would have extended back up here as well. Very cool to see. Absolutely gorgeous views. Highly recommend coming here, even if it's just to go for a hike. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. And today we explored the Eyrie House ruins here in the city of Holyoke, Massachusetts, located atop Mount Nonotuck in the Mount Tom Range. And I absolutely loved it here. The views were stellar, the hiking was great, the ruins were historic and interesting, well worth a visit if you ever come here. Yes, the ruins are pretty small, but the hike to get up here is amazing. Again, you get stellar views, the history is fascinating. I really would recommend you take the time to come here to the Mount Tom Reservation if you ever get a chance. I love this area. I've come here many times, but this was my first time exploring the ruins themselves, and it was fascinating. But yeah, as I mentioned, the Eyrie House was opened up by William Street in 1861, very quickly becoming a major summit hotel, drawing many visitors and guests over the years, peaking in the 1880s with over 30 guest rooms. Unfortunately, by the 1890s, it would quickly deteriorate and decay, and Street himself would unsuccessfully try to found a second hotel. Never came to fruition. And this place just deteriorated further until 1901, when he accidentally started a fire here during a horse cremation process. Ever since then, the state of Massachusetts took it over. In 1905, it was incorporated into the Mount Tom Reservation and was opened up to the public to explore. And that's what we did today. We took a hike, we explored these ruins, and had a great time. So I hope you guys also had a great time joining me here. As always, my name is Jay Mass. If you love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on this channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. Again, major shout out to all my channel members right here. You guys are awesome, and I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly. Or you could follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. But I've been Jay Mass as always. This has been the Eyrie House Ruins here in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Want to come here for quite some time, and I'm glad to check it off the list. Catch you guys on the next one. See you later.